What on guys, Commander here. Welcome to a new video inside of Clone Wars Adventures, the emulator. Now, I didn't think I was going to do this again. I don't think you expected this either. Now, I just sort of wanted to jump into this game again, in this emulator again. Nothing's been added and nothing sort of changed since I did the last video inside of this game, but I sort of wanted just to have a play about with it again because, I think, last time I played about it was about a year ago. I think it was about a year ago that I played about with it, so I want to see if there's anything that I missed or just, experience it again sort of thing. But anyway, before we get on with that, I do just want to say that we are, if you've seen a couple of my videos before, you'll know, and this is going to get a bit boring, but we are trying to hit 1,000 subscribers by October 2021. October 2021, October next year, we're trying to get 1,000 subscribers on this channel. We're currently about 520 at the moment, so if you're new around here and you haven't already, feel free to subscribe. That'd be great, thank you. So, this video is going to be too long. I still got to get used to the controls, but, what's this over here? I tell you what, I've missed all this. I missed the things you just added. The Battle of Mon Calamari to your Jedi Battle Log, Volume 2. I tell you what, I've missed all this. I miss being able just to walk around, because I used to be, back when this game was still a thing, I used to be very, hot on my collections, and just anything that you could collect, I would just be on it, and it is ridiculous. It's so fun, and walking around and finding these little, things, you just click them, you receive 20 credits sort of thing. It's so good. It was really fun. Right, I can't remember what we did last time, so we're just going to have a play about and just see what we can find. Let's have a talk to... Oh, Christ, I've got... These controls are really strange.
Across the planet. We should move out immediately.
What's this going to say? Yeah, same thing. Yeah, so this game, this game is probably, it's as old as me, I reckon. It's not 20 years old. I'm not, it's not older than me, but... It's certainly a really old game, and you can sort of see that by the graphics of it. It's not the most highest quality game, but the developers that are working on this game, they basically, I think what went through their mind was, what should we do first? Shall we make a game that is exactly the same as people remember it, or should we do sort of like a remaster? And they've done it exactly as people remember it, and I think that's better because, if this, let's say the Shock Trooper here was, 4K qualities and, really retextured and substance paint to exactly as in the highest detail you could possibly find now with Battlefront 2 style models, I think that will sort of ruin it a bit because it takes away that nostalgia feel. This clone armor, this Shock Trooper armor is exactly how I remember it when I used to play this game all those years ago. So that's why I sort of I'm glad that they've done it with this the same sort of art style. And maybe when they come to it, they'll, add a HD graphics DLC maybe, or a mod for it that adds, HD graphics maybe. I don't know, but they're doing a really good job with this at the moment. Even this droid, this droid is basically how it looks like now, but it still looks pretty high quality. And even with this clone trooper, the textures are last gen or maybe in the gen before, but it still looks pretty impressive. I'm not going to have a look in the archives because we have done a lot of this before, but I think in the last video there was a couple things that I didn't quite go through. Let's have a look in the training room. I think there was a couple of rooms that we actually missed. Oh god, I remember this. Oh, look at this. Oh my god. What's amazing is just seeing this. All of this, seeing these clone troopers just endlessly bench press. You could be here for hours and just seeing those clones there with this Jedi general just bench pressing, just doing push-ups. So you could be, you could sit here for like 10 hours and they'd just be doing these push-ups. It's an animation loop, but it's just that's just mental. Seeing these people up here, doing these lightsaber duels. This lightsaber duel game was probably one of my favorite games that I've played. Aside from, there's two games I'll show you in a second in the menu.
A Jedi skill with their lightsaber can see them through many difficult challenges, but that skill only comes through diligent study and training. We will often set up friendly duels between Jedi to learn from their technique and to keep our own skills sharp. Would you like to sign up for a duel?
Now, obviously, the games aren't there yet. It's just an explorable environment, but let's just go play games. I'll show you which games were my most favorite. So these were the popular games. Card Assault, which was you wouldn't have thought that a card game would be as fun as it actually is, but that game was really quite fun. Starfighter was alright, it irritated me a little bit. Republic Defender is your average tower defense game. A Lightsaber Duel was the one we just found. It's literally just following a sequence, you know. Let's say the sequence like with your arrow keys just up, down, left, right. That's literally all it was. But that's what Lightsaber Duel was, and it was fun because it's just like generic. This was one, Galactic Forces. This game, Galactic Forces, was probably my most favorite game in this entire like area. Now, basically, if you don't know what Galactic Forces is, it's essentially think of it a bit like Halo Wars or Halo Wars 2. So that sort of like RTS game where you build up your base and you send like armies of forces to the other base and just destroy it. That's basically the premise of what Galactic Forces was. But I love Galactic Forces because, you know, I would build up my base. My tactic was to hold the line until I basically got my base up to an area or to a point where it was actually going to be good enough to defend against. So while my base was basically defending itself, I was continuously just pumping units out. And then once I got to the level where I could actually unlock ATTEs, I would just spam building those guys and then just storm the enemy base and just destroy it. And 9 out of 10 times, that would actually work as a pretty good tactic. Now, obviously, if you were playing like Halo Wars 2 online nowadays, that tactic would not work because people have grown up and people have thought, okay, that's, you know, not going to work as a tactic, so they need to work around that. But that's how Galactic Forces always used to work, and that's why I loved it so much. Attack Cruiser was okay. It wasn't my favorite one, but it certainly wasn't my least favorite. It was just essentially what it was is you were in like an asteroid ring, as just a single Venator Star Destroyer, and you had to fight off against various different like waves of ships. So it could be Magnificence, could be Providence, could be just landing ships. It could be anything, but that's essentially what it was. You pick up like upgrades, so you get like, you know, overpowered shields or overpowered guns, or you get like another Venator come and join you and give you some reinforcements or something. So really that it was okay. It was an okay game. It just was a little bit monotonous after a while. Puzzle games, again, you got your Card Assault. Card Commander was also a really good one as well. It's a bit like Card Assault. I never really played Fleet Commander. I found that a little bit boring from what I can remember. Most of these, aside from like Card Commander and Card Assault, I didn't particularly like many of them very much because they were just your typical like arcadey sort of game. Star Type is actually one that we had to go with last time we were here, and it actually works. But all of these are basically just arcade games, so they do get, it's fun just to play it in for like, you know, like it, you know, nostalgia sort of thing. But generally speaking, I never really had much fun with them really. Campaigns, you obviously got your Geonosis Saga and you got your mission on Iceberg 3. We can actually go and visit Iceberg 3, but I think we've done that last time, so I'm going to leave that. If we got a bit of time, we'll go and have a go with that. But generally, I'm going to leave that. But yeah, Geonosis, there's nothing with Geonosis Saga. They ain't got that in yet. But these two, they're fairly short campaigns, but they were I'm not sure what mission on Iceberg 3 was based off of, but Geonosis Saga was basically based off the second part of Geonosis from Season 2. So, and then I think Mission Iceberg 3 was just like a generic campaign. And then you got your daily trivia, daily spin, daily holocron, and then you know, event letter, which is basically just ways of getting like credits and stuff like that to use. So yeah, it's pretty cool, you know. And just you can just walk around and just collect these like these little hologram things. But what was really interesting, what made me enjoy the hologram like collection, these collectibles of holograms so much, is that it was those holograms would just randomly spawn, and so they wouldn't necessarily spawn in any particular way. They would just spawn, and you know, so you could be like fighting around on Umbara, and you could just randomly come across one that you've been looking for to complete that particular collection. That's why I liked it. Can we go speak to Captain Rex?
Shot with a blaster is going to get you through more tough scrapes than you can imagine out there on the front lines. If you keep your marksmanship skills sharp, here at the blaster training range. If you're interested, I'll fire up the program for you.
You can see that they're actual, like, Rex hasn't actually firing at anything. He's sort of like, his arms are not quite animated properly, which isn't a problem. Like, it's a really early build, so what's Adi Gallia saying?
If you need to practice some skills before you head to the front lines, we've come to the right place.
Right, anyway, let's go back into the main hall and see what else we've got. So that's back towards the shops. That's the hangar bay. We've been there beforehand. got the lounge area, shops. Let's have a go with the war room. If we get some chance, we will go talk to Commander Wolf and go to Iceberg 3 and see what that's like. Yeah, see, so you've got Captain Commander Cody and Mason Windu here talk about Republic Defender. Let's see what they've got to say.
The Grand Army of the Republic needs heroes like you to lead the defense against the Separatists. Are you ready to hold the line against Count Dooku's most dangerous generals and droid armies?
I tell you what, hearing these voice lines again is just so good. It's so, well, it's strange because I think we have been here before, because I think I remember talking to Plo Koon, but it's just so strange listening to these sounds again that I've just missed for so long. You know, not necessarily missed for so long, but ones that, you know, I haven't heard in, like, literally years. Like, I can't remember what year it was that Clone Wars Avengers shut down, but it was, well, let's say Disney acquired Star Wars in 2012. Clone Wars was actually a year after that because they were already in development of the current season, so they finished off what they were doing and then they got rid of it. So then it was that same year that Clone Wars got axed, this shut down. So I think it was about 2013. So that's 6 years. We're in November 16th, 2020. We're nearly in 2021. That's nearly 7 years. 7 years since we've had this. You know, this has just been like something of people's memories. It's 7 years ago, and I can still remember all these voice lines, you know. Or not necessarily remember these voice lines, but as I hear them, I think, you know, that resonates something in the back of my head. It's so strange.
War rages across the galaxy, and the Republic Navy is spread thin. We need you to take command of a Venator attack cruiser and throw back the Separatist forces that threaten the innocent people of the Republic. Are you willing to take command?
Oh dear, I can't remember. I can't wait until
locked
we
in
finish.
battle with the Separatists across the galaxy. If half of what I hear about you is true, you could be just the thing we need to turn the tide. Interested in a little time on the front?
Yeah, that game, this Galactic Force game, I spent so much time playing. But I can't wait until this game is completed, or this, like, the development of this thing has been completed. Because if once it is, I could spend hours and hours on this. Like, especially when they get the multiplayer back in, because single player, like, while single player is fun, because all of these mini games that we've got, so Galactic Forces, Attack Cruiser, Republic Defender, etc. Well, a lot of them are campaign based, so you go through different levels. But things like Attack Cruiser or like Galactic Forces especially, they're all multiplayer. They're multiplayer games, so you can play them with or against other people, and it's just so fun to play it with other people. And that was one of the highlights of this game for me playing it. It's just I would just play with other people. You know, it make my time so much more fun playing this game. It was really good. I really enjoyed it. So I can't wait for this game to actually fully release. But I also can't wait for this game to actually release with its multiplayer, because it'd just be so fun. I'm not going to go to Iceberg 3 for the moment. If we've got a bit of time, I'll go into the hangar, because we can actually go. The hangar does actually let us go to Iceberg 3, but I think there's a couple locations when we were here last time that we didn't actually get to do. Let's talk to Anakin Skywalker.
The Republic can always use another great starfighter pilot out on the front lines. Are you ready to jump behind the controls of a Jedi starfighter and take the fight to the Separatists?
You're just seeing all these many clones in the background just doing their own thing, like exactly as I remember it. There wasn't really much point in Ryloth aside from just being the place where you could like get mini games. Like, it's just like another hub world where you could select different mini games. But what there would be, so this is basically what I liked about Ryloth. Now originally you never could do this, but I think either the developers suddenly allowed you to do it, or either the developers suddenly allowed you to do it, or somebody actually hacked the source code and that made you allow you to do it anyway. But you can actually go past this area here, so you can't go past this walkway. But essentially what it was is it was a live Republic Defender level that had just had. So what you had was you had like constant streams of battle droids coming from this like ray shield here. If you look, you can actually see there's a landing ship there. Yeah, so you got your landing ship there, and it would just spawn battle droids and super battle droids and what have you, just by that ray shield there. And they would just march along this path in the tank, and these like different like turrets and that you would see in the Republic Defender game would just like attack them as they would go past, and any that got past all those turrets, remarkably got past all those turrets, would just be shot dead by these one-shot ARC troopers who would just kill them with one shot. Can I talk to Captain Rex? No, we can't talk to Captain Rex. Okay, that's fine. But yeah, so they would then just get gunned down by these ARC troopers with just one shot, and they had like immense range on them, so they would be able to shoot just right to the edge of this like turret emplacement here. So there's no way that the actual droids would end up getting to there. I think there was thinking about it now, I think I was on it here one day, and like somebody, again, this source code was so easy to hack into and just to change. And I think that's the reason why they got rid of the barriers, because I think too many people were actually trying to manage to get through the source code, and got rid of this barrier, so the developers thought, sorry, we'll just give it to them. Just let them do it anyway. And I think somebody managed to actually get rid of the source code, or change the source code in this game so that it would just like endlessly like stream battle droids more than the turrets and the ARC troopers at the back could handle. And I think there was an incident where we actually got overrun completely by battle droids, and it was all up in the base, and this was even before we could actually attack these battle droids, because there's about 3 stages to this Ryloth segment. So there's one where we couldn't actually get into this area here. There was another one where we could get into this area, but we couldn't attack the battle droids. And there was a third time, there's a third like update for it where you could actually attack the battle droids that were coming, and you like with your blasters, your lightsabers, and people would literally just try and just stop them as soon as they spawn. They just don't get destroyed instantly, because they'd just be like one shot killed. But there was an instant where like they just endlessly, before we could actually attack the battle droids, just endlessly spawn in these the enemies and droids at a ridiculous rate, and it got to the point where we literally just overcrowded, and I think it crashed the system at some point. Which was fun to say the least, but once we actually managed to get into here, what other people tried to do as well is just to get past this shield, because if we walk up to it, it is just like a blank shield. But I think there was a bug where if you walked up to this here, and you could sort of like, so there was a gap, like it was merely a couple pixels, but if you actually hit it correctly, you could phase through the shield and end up on the other side. I mean, it's a bit useless, because as soon as you got in there, you couldn't get back out, you had to restart your game, but it's something people tried to do. So the creativity of people in this game was remarkable. That's another thing that I liked. This game is so open world and so open source. The developers of this game originally just, if they saw, oh, what are these people trying to do? Oh, they're trying to do this. Oh, that might be a new feature to the game. This was back when game developers just did what the community wanted them to do rather than what they wanted. You look at like, and no disrespect to like EA when I talk about Battlefront 2, but there was so much that we wanted in Battlefront 2, so much I wanted in Battlefront 2 that realistically shouldn't have been that hard of an issue. Getting clone appearances in that game took ages. It took like almost a year's worth of the game's development, to get that working. And I know they had to, because of EA's, ridiculous wanting of microtransactions, they had to redo the progression system, but they had the clone customization there. Like, it shouldn't have taken that long for a development team like as big as DICE is. That shouldn't have taken that long to get the clone skins in here. And like other things, we wanted a lot more offline stuff. There's a mod going that's been constantly updated and being worked on by a group of Battlefront 2 models called Instant Action Improvements, which is slowly bringing all of the online modes and sticking them with AI and turning them into offline modes, and turning them into, like, instead of having co-op, you have like offline heroes versus villains, which is something they've just released. If like a small group of developers can do that, like, why not even being paid to do with their community modders? Why can't developers do that? And that's my biggest issue with game developers at the moment. They do things that they want and they think the game needs, not what the community wants from them. And it's a great shame, back when they used to develop games like this, yes, it was a very low quality game and a low spec game, but they just would, if they saw, they would be constantly listening to their community, and they were just basically, the developers sort of left alone just to do as they pleased. They weren't really under any strict regulations. They just say, once a month, send out an update. Could be small, could be big, just do whatever. Once a month, send out an update. Add new things into the game, and they would be so in tune with listening to what the community wanted and like watching people playing gameplays and what people were trying to do. I think the reason why we were allowed to attack droids in this thing was because they were watching videos of people actually trying to destroy the droids here, and then one of the developers just turned around and said, oh, why don't we actually add that as a function into the game? We can do it with like Umbara and whatnot, so why not add it into Ryloth? You know, so I think that's the reason why, and that's what I love about game developers back then, you know, and that's why I've got a bit of an issue with game developers nowadays, because, and it's not the developers themselves, because the developers themselves are so good, you know, their talent is immense, you know, whether it be models or whether it be people who are actually paid in the industry, but it's the bosses, and it's the people who pull the strings. They have no idea, you know, EA's boss has no idea what a gamer wants. You know, they just, all they think about is the money that goes into their pocket at the end of the day. You know, and I think that's what deludes people, you know. I do feel sorry for people like Dennis Brownfell and, you know, and Ben Walker and that, because they know what their community wants, but, this is another thing, the arrogance can actually make it turn, which is actually quite neat. But, back, you know, I do feel sorry for Dennis Brownfell and Ben Walker, because, you know, they know what their community wants, and all they wanted was, and all their community wants, they just keep saying, you know, why just add this in, and or do all this, that, and the other, and, you know, they're like, and I can see them, like, I can imagine them in their office, just like, we know this is what you want, but we can't do it, we're under strict regulations, you know, we can't do anything against of what our bosses want us to do, and the bosses are not gamers, they're not, you know, they're 40-year-old men wearing a suit and tie, who just want the money in the back of their pocket, and don't even care, or give two, like, it's about somebody who just wants to play a game and enjoy it for what it is, and that's what I think is damaging the game thing at the moment, you know, that this is what, you know, this is what a game should be. The interaction this game had, you know, the fact that Clone Wars Adventures Emulator, the 2 videos, I've done about 3 videos on it now, those videos are the top, I think they're like some of my top 5 videos on my channel as far as views are concerned, and all the comments in those videos, like, you know, oh, I can't, you know, I love this game and all this jazz, you know, no controversy with these games at all. You know, it even had like a sort of pay-to-win system, but only for cosmetics, you know, that worked. I look at this and it just makes me wonder, you know, where have game developers have gone wrong in the past number of years, you know. Halo 5 Guardians, you know, I do really enjoy that game, but the microtransaction thing is so scummy, you know, even with Battlefront 2, you know, yes, Battlefront 2 got rid of it, but EA actually tried it, you know. But, you know, the rec system in Halo 5, it is a pay-to-win system. You know, like, and it just makes me think, you know, how scummy can you get? You know, that's just what it makes me think. You know, that is what it is. It's a scummy move to try and make money off of people. You know, like, season passes, you know, like, you're paying 60 quid for a game, and then you got to pay another, like, 30 quid for getting the content in it. You know, why is that a thing? So, anyway, I don't mean to go on a rant about it and how, like, games have changed and how it's gotten worse. I think, in my opinion, it's gotten worse anyway. You know, like Watch Dogs Legions, I paid 50 quid on Watch Dogs Legions, and they're already talking about a season pass. Like, why? Just give me the content. I paid 50 quid for your stupid game. Just give me the content. You know, so I do apologize for having to go on a rant about stuff like this, but that's how I feel, and that's why I feel game developers have gone wrong in recent years. You know, in the past 10 years especially, like, in the development of games, you know, maybe not necessarily this, and maybe there are some like indie games, and indie games are where the light shines really brightly on game development. But these mainstream AAA game developers, it just the bosses or whoever it is that's pulling the strings and telling them what to do, they just lost their like mojo, or not necessarily lost their mojo, but lost the touch, and it's really sad to see. But anyway, I don't mean to go on a rant, but that's just what I feel. You know, this game is so good, and I've loved this game from start to finish. When I started playing it to the time it was shut down, and even now I'm enjoying it. There's not hardly anything to do for me in here, so I can like look around the environment. But this is what a game should be, and looking at games that we've got nowadays and where they are and what they do, it makes me think, you know, it makes me just realise where game developers are actually going wrong. So, yeah, I thought this is sort of turned from like me having a rant about well, it's sort of gone to me having a rant about how game developers are like not missing the mark a lot with games, instead of me just having to walk around Clone Wars Adventures and just talk about my memories. But anyway, I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. That is about all the time for this video here. If you did enjoy, do smash that like button, hit the subscribe button for more awesome gaming content, because as I said at the start of the video, we are trying to hit 1,000 subscribers by October 2021. So if you are new around here and you haven't already, feel free to subscribe. That would be great. Thank you. So having said all that, I'd like to thank you all for watching again, and I shall see you all later. Bye.